I do have a drash prepared, but I wanted to speak freely a little bit before I gave that drash. First of all, Bamidbar, in the wilderness. In English, we have names for the books of the Torah that talk more about the general themes of the Torah. Like we have Genesis, which is the beginning, like the creation. It's very similar. It's very similar in Hebrew. It's Bereshit, which means in the beginning, right? Bereshit, in the beginning, Genesis. But then we have the next book of the Bible is in English. It's Exodus, and Exodus is the name for the general, the most significant event that happened in the book of Exodus, which is the Exodus, the going out of the children of Israel from Egypt, which is also very significant in Judaism and in Hebrew. We call that Yetziat Mitzrayim, the going out from Egypt, Yetziat Mi Mitzrayim. But in Hebrew, we call that book Shemot, which means names. And it starts by recalling the names of the children of Israel that basically went to Egypt, right? So it's more focused on the family, the people, right, instead of the event. And then we have in the next book is Leviticus, right? And Leviticus, that was so named because of all the many descriptions and commandments that pertain to the Levitical priesthood, which makes a lot of sense. But in the Hebrew, we call it Vaikra, which means, and he called, or and he assembled, right? So it's more focused again on the people, right? So it's focused on the children of Israel again, and how we were called to assemble. And even the Levitical priesthood, their main job was to act on behalf of the people of Israel. And if we go back to Genesis, Bereshit, we can also think about how Bereshit is about the beginning of humankind, the beginning of the people of Israel. So again, focused on more the people, right? And then we have numbers now. There's a lot of numbers in there, a lot of counting, a lot of, talking about different ages. But in the Hebrew, it's Bamidbar, meaning in the wilderness. And who was in the wilderness? It was the people. The people were in the wilderness. So again, I feel like the Hebrew is more people focused, human focused. And then we have the last book of the Bible is Deuteronomy. And Deuteronomy, this means, I think it's Greek, it means second law, right? Second law, because it literally contains a second giving of the Torah. It's Moshe's own words of the story of the Torah, or at least focused mostly on the children of Israel, but it's the second law, right? But in Hebrew, we call it Devarim, which means you could call it words, but it's deeper than just the word, because the word in Hebrew, words in Hebrew, it's milim. That's more particular. It's just talking about like letters, you know what I mean? But the word Devarim is deeper than just like words with letters. It's talking about, it more points to the things, the ideas, the matters behind the words, because that's the whole point of words. It's not the word itself, it's what it stands for, what it symbolizes, what it conveys. So the Hebrew, I think, has a kind of a deeper, more spiritual meaning, whereas the English, it's very nice. It gives you general themes. Okay, anyways, now, to my Josh, sorry for that long introduction, but I just wanted to note that it's something that we were talking about the other day. And I wanted to, again, practice my Hebrew and also English here. Let me move this. Sorry, not Hebrew. Spanish and English here. So this is titled Life Has Value at Every Age. La vida tiene valor a cualquier edad. From the moment of conception to the twilight years of life, the Torah teaches us that every stage of life is sacred. Before we are even born, we are known by the Almighty. as it is written, before I formed you in the womb, I knew you, and before you were born, I sanctified you. Jeremiah. At 8 days, a baby boy enters the covenant of circumcision. Hold on 1 second, I'm sorry. That's from Genesis, we understand that. At 1 month, the child is counted among the Levites and eligible for Pidyon Haben. That's from our Torah portion, the 1 month age, Numbers. At 5 years, a child begins Torah study. That's from Pirkei Avot, from the Talmud. And at 12 or 13, we become accountable for mitzvot and spiritually independent. This is the bar bat mitzvah age. By age 20, according to this Torah portion, we are ready to serve the nation in strength, Numbers 1-3, as soldiers. At 25 and 30, Levites and leaders step into full service, according to Numbers chapter 4. And at age 50, Levites become elders and mentors. That's in Numbers 8. At age 60, life enters a stage of deeper evaluation, according to Leviticus 27. And by 70 or 80, we see the full cycle of a life well lived, according to Psalm 90. At 100, as with Abraham, the impossible becomes possible, Genesis chapter 21, actually. And thus, at every age, life carries a unique purpose, whether to receive, to grow, to serve, or to bless others with wisdom. From womb to elderhood, you matter. Your life is a sacred journey. My mother was saying the other day, she was talking about how she's so old and she feels like, she doesn't have much to do. She's ready to go, anytime. And I was trying to say to her, no, I appreciate you at this age. I want you here for your grandchildren, my children. I want them to spend time with you, to get to know you. And, even you don't even have to talk much. I feel like my mother is just a wonderful example of faithfulness. She's a big part of my spiritual journey in life. She had so much faith as a child. I just have memories of her. And I've even had visions of her in the daytime. This one time I was praying and I felt this kind of like a fire all around me. And I felt like I couldn't open my eyes and I had to just keep them shut. And I felt like this fire around me. And I started having a vision of, I had this vision of me escaping my body. And I started picturing my mother in different rooms of the house. I pictured my mother on her bed, reading her devotional, reading her Bible, and praying. And I pictured my mother on the piano, playing hymns on the piano. She didn't play it professionally. She couldn't play that great, but she always, played on the piano and sung hymns to God. And I always talk about her as a picture of health. And, she's always there for her family, always trying to help them at every age, treating all of her adult children like little children, wanting to help them in life. So, I just the fact that my mother has been blessed with so many years in health, and I know Ark's mother also was blessed with very long life. And there were many things about her that we can learn, even if you never met her or talked to her. I never met your grandma, Christine, or even talked to her, but just the stories that your father would tell about her, they're so inspirational to me. So there's so much value to all of our mothers and elders, and even my father, who I didn't get along with many times in life. His memories. I have so many good memories of all the positive things that he taught me. Anyways, I'm sorry I don't have a translation for all of that. But now let me go to the Spanish translation of the other part. Desde el momento de la concepción hasta los años dorados, la Torah nos enseña que cada etapa de la vida es sagrada. Incluso antes de nacer, el Todopoderoso ya nos conoce, como está escrito, antes que te formara en el vientre te conocí y antes que nacieses te santifiqué. Jeremías. A los 8 días, el niño entra en el pacto de la circuncisión, Génesis. Al cumplir 1 mes, ya es contado entre los levitas y puede ser redimido. Números. A los 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A los 5 años comienza el estudio de la Torah, Avot, that's in the Talmud. A los 12 y 13, is that 12 or 13? Right? Okay. A los 12 o 13, se asume la responsabilidad espiritual de las mitzvot. A los 20, uno puede servir a la nación, números. A los 25 and 30, 25 y 30, ¿verdad? Right? Okay. Los levitas y líderes comienzan su servicio completo, números. A los 15, is that 50? 50, sorry. A los 50, los levitas se convierten en mentores, números. A los 60, se valora la vida con más profundidad, Levítico. A los 70 or 80, 70 u 80, se vive el ciclo completo de una vida plena, Salmo. A los 100. What? 100. A los 100, como Abraham, lo imposible se hace posible. Génesis. En cada etapa, la vida tiene un propósito único: recibir, crecer, servir o bendecir con sabiduría. Desde el vientre hasta la vejez, tu vida importa. Es un viaje sagrado. In addition to the biblical milestones, there's a modern Jewish custom which has emerged, which is the rededication of Jewish youth to Torah and mitzvot during the festival of Shavuot. When we commemorate the giving of the Torah at Sinai, and just as the children of Israel once said, we will do and we will hear in Exodus, our teens today are going to be invited to renew their commitment to walk in the ways of Torah and holiness as they mature into adulthood. That'll be this Monday at 11 a.m. for our Shavuot service. And this Shavuot, this is going to be during our Shachrit service. We're going to hold a special ceremony for our teenagers, a moment to affirm their identity, connection to Hashem, and readiness to live with purpose and truth. May this tradition inspire strength, joy, and courage in the next generation. I won't do that in Spanish. That's okay. Okay, you want me to do it in Spanish? All right. Además de los hitos bíblicos, ha surgido una costumbre judía moderna: la rededicación de los jóvenes judíos a la Torah y las mitzvot durante la festividad de Shavuot, cuando conmemoramos la entrega de la Torah en el Sinai. Así como los hijos de la Israel dijeron, haremos y escucharemos. Éxodo. Hoy nuestros adolescentes están invitados a renovar su compromiso de caminar en los caminos de la Torah y la santidad al acercarse a la adultez. Este Shavuot, durante nuestro servicio de Shacharit, realizaremos una ceremonia especial para nuestros adolescentes, un momento para afirmar su identidad, su conexión con Hashem y su disposición a vivir con propósito y verdad. Que esta tradición inspire fortaleza, alegría y valentía en la próxima generación. Amén.